Hey knitters, welcome to episode 201 of the Knitty McPurly podcast. I'm your host, Devin You can find me on Instagram as Knitty McPurly. I am Knitty McPurly at KnittyMcPurly.com. And if you want to email me, I'm Devin at KnittyMcPurly.com. Please subscribe if you are new and welcome. I'm so glad that you are here. This is a knitting podcast and wow, what a week it was. It was 72 degrees and sunny every single day. Like every single day. I was tired of 72 degrees and sunny. Like, how could it just be so beautiful and amazing every single day? So today is a little bit cooler. Thankfully, sweater weather has arrived a little bit, I think. So bring on the sweater weather. Happy about that. You might be wondering, Devin, what is this thing that you are wearing? I have not seen this before. Well, let me just tell you about it. Can you believe this? Like, look at this thing. Let me show you. Do you hear that chink chink? That's because it has beads in it. Can you see the beads? Devin, I thought that you did not know how to knit with beads. No, I don't. Look at this amazing thing. Can you believe this? This is so epic. This amazing, gorgeous, beautiful shawl was sent to me by a podcast watcher. Can you believe that? This is like in the top 10 of gifts that I've received in my life. I have never, ever received a gift that took this much time, I don't think ever before. It is so gorgeous. And not only that, I'm like terrified of getting makeup on it. So I'm like trying to not get too close to my face. But it is so beautiful. There's other ways to wear it, I suppose, but this is my favorite. I love the comfort and ease of this type of wear. This was sent to me by a podcast watcher named Shelly. Hi, Shelly, as a congratulations for my 200th episode. And I ended up getting it like the next day. But it is so, so amazing. And Shelly also contributed this week's So Here's What Happened story that I will read to you at the end of the podcast. Thank you so much, Shelly. She sent me this beautiful congratulations card as a congratulations on 200 episodes. She says, I've enjoyed each podcast since I began watching. You must know there are so many who look forward to you every week. Thank you, Shelly. Thank you so much, Shelly. I sent her this email. I was like, how could you give me this thing? It is just so gorgeous. And not only that, did I mention that it has beads? I don't know how to do that. But at my retreat in January, Lori is going to teach us all how to do it. And I can't wait. And I cannot wait to learn how to do that from Lori. She's going to have kits. It's going to be great. But in the meantime, I'm going to enjoy this beautiful, amazing shawl. I have always wanted a shawl like this, where it's just all lace and it's dressy. Like I've always wanted a dressy shawl. And in my mind, I thought, someday I'll make one, but I just haven't had the time. And when this came, I pulled it out of the package and all the kids were like, whoa. Like, what is that? I'm like, I know. It's amazing. Thank you so much, Shelly. There really are not sufficient thanks enough for a gift like this. I plan on wearing it when I look nice. It's a total look nice shawl. Okay. I also wanted to tell you that this week, last night, my husband and I went to Culpeper and we did a little bit of antiquing. And there's this one antique shop that has like not only antiques, but also collectibles. And look at this adorable bag that I got. The inside is canvas. And so it's got a lot of structure. And this is made from an antique quilt. This bag maker, they took the tag when I bought it, but it's from a maker called Said LLC. I'll link her Instagram below, but the stuff on her Instagram was not as amazing as the stuff that they had at the Minuteman antique shop in Culpeper, Virginia. If you're local, go check it out. But I just got this little tiny pouch for like little stuff, you know, balms and lip gloss and cable needles and stitch markers and little things like that. But honestly, like, I just really want to go back and get another bag from her because they were so amazing. Like, as I was standing there, I was thinking, I don't need another bag. And I don't, but these were amazing. Like, they were vintage fabric. Like, you can see the hand stitching that someone did originally on this quilt. And she gave it new life by making it into a bag. I don't love the fob. It's got a little key. I need to put something more Knitty McPurly on there. But I just thought it was so great. I actually reached out to her on Instagram and said, I would love to have these in my shop. Like, do you do these wholesale? So if that all works out, we might see some of that. I mean, some of the fabric that she used were like old, shabby rag rugs that she turned into bags. I mean, they were just amazing. My husband was like, these look old. I'm like, yes, that's why they're so cool. So yeah, anyway, Daisy Said LLC, I'll link her Instagram below. I don't know if she has an online store. I got the impression from her Instagram that she does do wholesale, so we'll see. Yes, okay. Progress and shop news. First of all, pumpkin chai balm has been restocked because it sold out in a hot second. Like, it was gone. I had a ton and you guys bought all of it. So I restocked. I have it again in the tins and the sticks. This is the one that lives near my bed, and you can see that I have been using it. I like to have both. I like to have the tins because you can have it by your bed and you can put it on your hands and your feet before you go to sleep, and then you wake up and everything is super nice and soft. But I also like to have the stick because then when I'm in the car, because I think of things in the car and I can just pull it out of my purse and I don't even have to look. I just put it on and I put it away and my hands aren't greasy. Although what I did just there worked pretty well. My hands aren't greasy and I did that from the tin. So it's good to have both. These also make great gifts. Turns out even non-knitters have hands. So you could get this for anyone who wants to smell good and have soft hands, or feet. It's great for feet too. Okay, second thing, Advent calendars will ship on Tuesday. I had one going to Norway and one going to Singapore that I shipped out last week because I wanted to make sure those got there on time. Everyone else, your packages will be on their way to you on Tuesday. I would do Monday, but it is Veterans Day here in the US, and so everything is closed. So they will be going out on Tuesday, although if UPS is open, I may take them over on Monday. The post office won't be, but honestly, I think most of them are going UPS. But it's, you know, it's probably like 75% UPS, 25% USPS. But if it's USPS, then it'll definitely go out on Tuesday. So that is going to be really exciting. I have very closely guarded pictures of the entire Advent all laid out together, and it is so great. Like, it's funny, Gigi did all the packing. She packed everything. She stuck all the stickers. She did it. And, you know, she'd be, as she was putting them in, she'd be like, I don't understand. And then I showed her the whole thing, and she was like, oh, like, it's so good. It's so good. It goes from dark to light, but there's a lot of color in between because we can't just go from black to white. That would be boring. There's a lot of color in there. I think you're really gonna like it, and I can't wait for you to get yours and tell me what you think about it. There's a hashtag. There's a little card in there that tells you how to get your free pattern, and it has a hashtag. Anytime you want to post pictures on Instagram or whatnot, then we can all look at them together. No spoilers though. Okay, somebody mentioned they wanted to open it backwards, but they were like, don't worry, I'll keep it to myself. So, okay, big things are coming. Big things are coming. November's color of the month is almost sold out. All right, this is it. It's moody. It's like mushrooms and fallen leaves It's just so great. And it goes with a lot of colors in my shop, but there is not a lot left. And sadly, I can't dye more. I don't have time. There's no time in my schedule to dye November. I'm working on Black Friday stuff and December stuff and the sock club. So like, it's a lot of yarn dyeing. There's no way I can dye more November. So if you like it, go get it right now before it is gone. I have the most of the sock sets, but still not a million. So if you want one, go get them. Let's see. Okay, Black Friday sale. I don't like stress. And I know we're doing the League of Extraordinary Sock Knitters, and if you want in, you do have to set an alarm on your phone. Like, you have to do that. But in general, I like for things to not be stressed. So the Knitty McPurly Black Friday sale will go on for all of Thanksgiving week. I'm gonna kick it off on Saturday, November 23rd with the podcast. And after the podcast, all of the Black Friday stuff will go on sale, and there will be a good discount, and it's gonna be good. So go and get that. The only thing that will, I don't wanna say the only thing, but one thing that will not be discounted is the League of Extraordinary Sock Knitters, because there's just no room for discounts in that. The discount for newsletter subscribers, it's just, you know, sometimes there's space for a discount and sometimes there is not, and there's just no buffer in there for a discount. So that will be that. But the Black Friday sale will go on the whole week, so that way you can shop at your leisure and it's not stressful. But there are new products coming. Some are old products that are coming back. Some are colors that are new and collections that are just unique to Black Friday, and it's gonna be great. So be sure to be here for the podcast on November 23rd. I know these don't always go up at the same time. Usually it's in the afternoon. But again, it won't be stressful. It'll be a no stress Black Friday sale. So I also have been thinking about my Christmas nativity. I went down to the basement and I tried to dig it out so I could show it to you, but frankly, it was too deep in with the Christmas stuff. So I'm just gonna put up some pictures of my Christmas nativity. It's a really beautiful one. It's very easy to knit in terms of toy making. It's kind of a toy, essentially. It is worsted weight, and you can use scraps. I used scraps when I made mine. It's a great little pattern. And again, because it's a toy, you really could use any weight you wanted. You would just, if you went up in weight, you'd get a bigger toy. If you went down in weight, you'd get a smaller one. But it is Joseph and Mary and the baby Jesus, and a little blanket to wrap the baby Jesus up in. So that is available over on my website in case you don't have a Christmas nativity yet, or if you know someone who needs a Christmas nativity. It's a really fun pattern. I really enjoyed making it. The other thing that I wanted to mention is last year's advent calendar, we did DK weight yarn, and let's see if I can pick this up gracefully. And we made ornaments last year. So I strung these. There's the octopus and the gnome and the dancing corn, the avocado with the heart pit, and the chonky bee with teeny tiny wings, and the rainbow with the pink clouds, and the clownfish, and the bunny in a sweater has kind of slid toward the clownfish, but I don't have any hands to slide him back. The bunny in a sweater with the giant pom-pom tail, and the tiny sweater pattern. So it was my goal, something that I wanted to do was to reformat this pattern out of the mystery knit along that it used to be and into its own pattern. I have not gotten that far yet, but if you want to knit, and this is 9 ornaments, if you want to knit 9 ornaments, you can go and grab the pattern for this over on the website. And yeah, even though its format is slightly, you know, it's still formatted as a mystery knit along, still it's all the patterns together. So if you're interested in that, you can go grab that on the website too. These are all kind of Christmassy things. My knitting fantasies today are Christmas themed. I'm getting excited. And let's see, what is it, like 3 weeks away until Thanksgiving? It's about 3 weeks, I think. And at that point, it's full on Christmas. We're decorating for Christmas. It's going to be all Christmas music at my house all the time. Very excited. So those ornaments are for DK weight yarn, and they are great stash, like scrap busters. It's great to use scraps. And if you can always hold 2 fingering weights together, which even though that's a little thick for DK, it's an ornament, it's going to be fine. And you can make those with scrap yarn. That's a great option too. Almost last but not least, not really, I have a couple more things. The League of Extraordinary Sock Knitters goes up November 29th at noon. I think it's gonna sell out quick, so if you want in, just set an alarm on your phone so that you can go and just click, click, click and buy it and you'll be in. And that will ship mid-December for January, because it is a January through December 2025 yarn club. So that's exciting. December's color of the month is coming December 1st. Like, it is a ton of stuff over at Knitty McPurly. I have a good friend who does taxes, and I was like, okay, and my husband and I went out last night with him and his wife, and I was like, what tax season is for you, this is tax season for Knitty McPurly. So there's a lot going on. Finally, retreat goers, you guys, it is coming. It's like 3 months away to the Knitty McPurly retreat in Dallas. It's gonna be great. I cannot wait. I am still waiting for my last class information to come in, but keep an eye on your email inbox, because I would like to get an email out to you with all of the class information, the schedule, all of that will be out to you within the next few weeks. There are things on Facebook too, but not everybody is in the Facebook group. So, you know, the Facebook group is fun, but I can't put like information there that everyone needs. That will have to go out by email. So keep an eye out for that. That's a lot of stuff. It's been a lot. Finally, is my personal knitting. I mentioned last time that I'm working on the Traveler Shell by Andrea Mowry. And last time we went through my gauge switcheroo worksheet, and from your comments, I got that you guys really appreciated that. It was really helpful to be walked through it, because sometimes it can seem like it's a lot of words and it's a lot of math, but when you see what it is, it's really not that scary. So I did a bit on this. Oh, look at that. I'm not even in between rows. So this is the wrong side right here, and then the right side looks like that. So I am using, losing my stitches here. This needle's not really long enough. I am using look at that. See, somehow that happened. That can happen when you're knitting with 2 strands together, where you accidentally only knit with one and the other one's just like hanging out. I'll have to go back and fix that. Anyway, I am knitting with Knitty McPurly Frankfurt fingering held together with mohair, and it's really nice. Mohair is not super soft, but the only time you really need something soft is if it's gonna touch your skin, and this really, I don't think is. I plan on wearing it with long sleeve shirts. I guess I could wear it with short sleeve, but still, it's just the upper arm. It's not like my neck where it would bother me. And I don't know what this pattern is or what it's made of. Maybe Shelly can leave us a comment and tell us what the pattern is. And I don't know what this yarn is either, but it's delightful. It feels like it almost has some cotton in it, maybe. It's not crunchy, so it's not 100% cotton, but maybe like a cotton wool blend is my guess. Anyway, I do plan on doing kits for this probably in the new year. And I would definitely give the option of Surrey silk over mohair. Surrey silk is nice because it doesn't have the prickle factor that mohair does, but I don't mind it. Like I kind of like a little bit of a toothy sweater sometimes. So this has been my go-to lately. That's what I have been traveling around with, and you know, in the carpool line, I've been working on that. If my husband's driving, that's the kind of stuff that I've been working on. It's been good. Oh, and also last time I mentioned that I am knitting the size 1, even though my size would be for the size 2 because of my gauge being different. And I mentioned that was the smallest size, but as I started knitting, I saw that she also has a size 0. So that was really nice. Like if I had needed to go down one more size, I could have. So that was helpful. And I wanted to mention that just in case anybody else was interested. Okay, the comment section. There were tons of good comments, and I have so many that I want to read. Lindsay, hi Lindsay, who's always yarn first, says, this is why I got 2 pumpkin chai balms. I knew it was gonna sell out. Gigi looks gorgeous in the Anne sweater, and I laughed at the horror sock story. I can go one worse. She says, now that I teach beginner knitting and beginner sock knitting at Arkansas Yarn Co., I tell people over and over again to occasionally hold your knitting out and really look at it. Once I was making a sock. I've made many before. I started cuff down, I did my shadow wrap heel, knit my foot, and at the right spot, I started knitting a heel. When do you think I noticed that I knitted a second heel? After I was completely done with it and back to knitting. I could not believe I knit 2 heels in one sock without even noticing. I think that it happens more than we would like to admit, where we're just not really paying attention. When Shelley, I don't want to give away the story, but anyway, I'll save that because that's part of so here's what happened. Anyway, I feel like that kind of thing happens a lot, where we just don't realize it and we're just not really paying attention. But that is a good one, where you're like, you could just keep going around and around and around. Colette says, congratulations on 200 episodes, Devin. When I saw the Timbo vest in this episode, I knew that that was the garment I wanted to make with that leftover yarn. I don't blame you. I loved the Timbo. With the magic of the gauge switcheroo worksheet, I determined that I should knit size 5 to get size 6. The pattern measures the progress of the vest in rows and rounds, and my row gauge was off. Since it's a top-down construction, I compared my progress to a fleece vest that fits me well. Super good, super smart. I knit the collar shorter than the pattern because of personal preference. When the front and back separated, I weighed the yarn so I could use all of it up equally. I started the contrast color earlier than the pattern suggests because I ran out of the first color. Awesome. The pattern instructs you to continue knitting the front and back flat. It's simple to join in the round. Check your stitch count to continue the broken rib pattern seamlessly. I'll continue until either I run out of yarn or reach the same length as the fleece vest. Awesome. I'm so glad that was helpful. I love that pattern. I just thought it was so cute also. MKL says, great video. I really enjoyed the instructional gauge switcheroo portion of the video. Much easier to understand than I thought, and congratulations on your 200th episode. Yes, I agree. Going through it was really helpful. I'm so glad that helped you guys. Just so everyone knows, I did not make that up. I mean, my brain doesn't do that. I couldn't come up with that on my own. That was given to me by, I think, Lisa at Old Orcut Yarnery. Hi, Lisa. Are you the one who gave me this formula? I'm pretty sure I got that from Lisa. And I don't know where she got it from. Maybe she came up with it. But all I did was put it into worksheet form. That's all I did. So if it's helpful to you, I am so, so glad. 8 Gammy, hello. I love this woman because she is my biggest cheerleader. She is so happy. She says, congratulations, 200 episodes, yay. Loved the cute dance and the video of Knitty Cat and Sister. Yes, I buy so many patterns, just hoping someday to make it, LOL. The gauge lesson was wonderful. Thank you. Love your cowl and everything about this video. Well, you are just just bless your heart, 8 Gammy. You're just the sweetest. Nan says, can't wait for the sock club and the Dallas retreat. Laundry's done. I used your wonderful worksheet for the cardigan I am knitting. You explain it so well. Awesome. So glad, Nan. Katie B says, happy 200th episode. So happy to be here, especially for the joyful happy dance. Yes, I dance badly, but I do it with confidence. So there's that, with joy anyway. November's colorway is even moodier than I expected. So perfect for this time of year. I love it with thistle. Yes, looks so good with thistle. Sorry I held up Morel toward the end of the last episode. I just wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. She says, I'm not really into brown and gold colorways because I love cool tones. I look good in cool tones and warm colors wash me out. I am the opposite of that. So I'll happily admire them on other people instead, but it's beautiful. I'm picturing a hipster hat with a wide brim in thistle and the body in November. Ooh, that'd be pretty. I'm currently gift knitting a hipster hat with a brim and a beautiful bronze and body in forest green, and I'm so happy with how it's coming out. I would love to see that, Katie. Send me a picture if you think of it. Sandy says, hi, Devin. Thank you for the gauge lesson. Here's what I have done. I knit my swatch, get the number of stitches per inch, take that number times my desired finished circumference, such as if I have 6 stitches per inch and I want 40 inches around, that's 240 stitches. Then I go to the pattern and I find the stitch count for the body circumference closest to 240 after you split for sleeves and whatnot. And that's the size I choose. What do you think? Sandy, that's genius. That is exactly what you should do. That will totally work. This is just a simpler version of what I present in the worksheet. So this is definitely an option. The only time I think it becomes difficult is if it's a cardigan, especially an open cardigan that's not really designed to close. So if it's a pullover, then all day long, yes, that's a totally great idea. It's just a simpler way of doing it. I love it. Nick says, not only do I buy patterns, which I may or may not ever end up knitting, but I also love to buy the yarn for the project and then hoard that as well. I have an entire trunk full of future projects which are already beautifully planned and saved digitally as lovely pictures with the yarn and project information. And now that that's full, instead of just banning myself from this practice, I'm considering what other place I could start storing these yarn bundles. Nick, I love the way you think. This is genius. Like, you have done all the hard work. All that's left is to knit the thing, right? Now it's all ready for you whenever you want to knit it. Genius. Anne says, I really enjoy your podcast and have even been going back to watch the older ones. I have ordered several times from your shop and was pleased with what I've gotten. But today I decided to order 2 stickers, the Glitter Murdog and the It'll Block Out. But $7 for shipping 2 stickers? A little much. Fair enough, Anne. So here's what I said. So my shipping cost is, it's a low shipping cost if you're buying a sweater quantity. In fact, I even have free shipping if you go over a certain dollar amount. But if you're only buying something small, you might say, well, maybe I'd throw a skein of yarn in there to make it worth it. And if you want to do that, that's great. If you don't want to do that, if you really just want the 2 stickers, then buy the stickers, pay the $7 shipping, leave me a note. You know how when you check out, there's a little comment section. You could say, can you please refund me 6 of these $7? I will refund you your $6. I'll put them in an envelope with a stamp and I'll mail them to you. There's not any tracking information. It just is going by stamp, but that's fine. I can totally do that. So pick your option. Either throw in a skein of yarn or leave me a note when you check out and I'll refund you most of your shipping. So, because I agree, who wants to pay $7? It doesn't cost $7 to ship 2 stickers. I can do those with an envelope and a stamp. So those are your options. Jennifer says, Jennifer's question is so good. And I bet a lot of people have it and are afraid to ask. So kudos to her for asking the question. I do not know how to count gauge on any stitch pattern other than stockinette. Nobody seems to tell you how to do it. They just say knit in pattern and count gauge. I don't even know how to do it in garter stitch. I don't know how to count the stitches. Is there a way that you could show us how to count the stitches on this little swatch that you have? Is it the garter ridges that you count or this in the stockinette that you count? This is such a good question. She says, I'm probably the only one in the entire knitting world who doesn't know how to count my gauge in anything other than stockinette stitch. If there's a pattern that the gauge swatch isn't knit in stockinette, I either ignore it or I avoid the pattern altogether and look for something else, and I don't really want to do that. So that is such a good question. So I have filmed a little video to show you how to do it, how to count stitches in garter stitch. I don't have any other swatches right now available. It is more difficult in a stitch pattern that has lace or cables. I find that to be difficult. If the swatch is knit in cables, it's more difficult to do. But what you could do is put stitch markers in to help you see. Like if you put them in every 5 or 10 stitches, that would help you count them a little more easily. That's an option. You could knit them right in there. But anyway, here's my little video showing how to count stitches in garter stitch. Welcome to my extremely, extremely close-up view of my knitting swatch. Now, I have gone up really close here because this is not the easiest swatch to count stitches on because it does have mohair, it's got a halo, and I even am using 2 different colors. I've got the Fontaine and the Pewter. But I think we can get the gist here. So let's say I want to count the stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is 1 stitch. It's hard to show, but basically you've got like an under and an over, and you're either going to pick one, pick the unders or pick the overs. Let's see. So that is not it. You know, it's not the easiest. Now this also has stockinette here, where you count the V's, right? 1, and it depends. You can go like that or like that. Either one, you're going to get the same answer. But you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. If you're counting in stockinette. With garter, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. I hope that helps. All right, knitting fantasies. This week's knitting fantasies are brought to you by Christmas and crochet, because I am super excited about Christmas, and both of the patterns that I found happen to be crochet patterns, and I think they are fabulous. My first pick are these so cute bobble Christmas trees. These are adorable. I kind of want to have them all over my house. This pattern is on sale right now. It's 20% off, and it says the sale ends in 1 day. So it's linked below. If you're watching this Saturday or Sunday, go get it on sale. I mean, it's marked down like $1. So even if you don't get it on sale, it's not a super expensive pattern. Comes in 3 sizes. It is crochet. Comes in English, German, Spanish, and Norwegian. Super nice. The finished heights are 5.9 inches for the small one, 8.7 inches, and 10.6 inches. It's from small to large. And that is with Drops Muscat mercerized cotton 8-ply. I don't know what size that is, but it's a 3.5 millimeter hook, maybe worsted. I don't know. European patterns tend to do this where they say, oh, just use this yarn. But can't you just tell us what weight it is? Why do we have to Google it? Why do I have to Google it? And my second pick is just the cutest Christmas stocking ever. And I think they're small. Oh, it comes in 2 sizes. So this is, what's this called? The Granny Ruth stocking. And aren't they just adorable? They're just so cute. I love them. If I had free time, I would devote myself to making one of these for everyone I know, because I just think they're so cute. Also, this pattern, which is a good price, it's $6.50 on Etsy, comes in 2 sizes. So the large stocking is 20 inches by 7 inches, so that's pretty big. And the mini stocking, which is the one that really stole my heart, is 6 inches by 3 inches. I just think those are so cute. Great for gift card holders, ornaments, gift wrap ornaments, adornments, which is really hardcore. Like if you're doing something like this as a part of your gift wrap, wow. Advent calendars, holiday table settings, garlands, and more. Yeah, so this says intermediate beginner. It's US, so you know that US crochet patterns and British crochet patterns use like a different terminology. This is US. All it is chain, slip stitch, and half double crochet. I feel like even I could make this. This just looks so fun, and it's bulky weight or 2 strands of worsted held together. So yes, awesome. Okay, so here's what happened. This one was sent to me in a hard copy form with my beautiful shawl, and it came from my lovely friend Shelley. She says, so here's what happened. When I was a little girl, I lived with my grandparents. They both worked a full-time job, and my grandpa was a preacher for 2 to 3 small rural churches. That meant a lot of study time, 2 services every Sunday, and a midweek service rotating between churches. My grandma played the piano and organ, helped with clerical duties, and so on. Children were expected to be seen and not heard, so that left me with a lot of time to fill. I loved to read and was involved with Girl Scouts after school and did many crafts like embroidery and origami. Origami is hard. I've tried that before. Like you think, this can't be that hard. It's really hard. Some evenings, my grandma would sit with her yarn basket after dinner and crochet in front of the TV. I don't remember paying much attention to her while she made dozens of granny squares, but eventually there was a small blanket growing ever so slowly. I taught myself to crochet from a little Learn How book, mostly bumpy chain stitches and wonky looking doll blankets, but I enjoyed working with the bits of leftover yarn. As I got a little older, around 8 or 9, I wanted to try knitting. You did a lot. That's a lot by 8 or 9. She says, I have no idea where I got the knitting needles and beginner knitting pamphlet. I do remember going to the store to buy a hank of yarn. It was thick, white, and woolly. I started with a project in the book for a keyhole ascot, a short scarf with a hole to wrap around your neck and poke one end through to hold it in place. It was so hard to hold the needles and the stitches kept falling off. I had no idea if I was following the pictures in the book, but I made the ascot and I gave it to my grandma as a present. She wore it at least once, which was her unspoken rule about presents she received as I observed over the years. I went on to make a pair of mittens from that same book, but having no idea about gauge and proper tension, they were huge. I gave up on knitting for quite some time, finding the hook much easier to control. I made mostly blankets and doilies with a few other home decorating experiments along the way. Fast forward to my late 20s, and I wanted to make a cabled sweater, so I found a pattern, bought some needles, and dark red acrylic cheap yarn, and revived my nearly non-existent knitting skills. I am nothing if not stubborn and managed to make a sweater through all the frustration as I dropped stitches, ripped out rows, and struggled with seaming through that dark yarn. It fit. Having been self-taught, I developed a modified lever style of knitting using my body to stabilize the right needle most of the time. I've collected knitting needles, yarn, stitch markers, yarn bowls, favorite knitting channels, and all sorts of oddments as I work through new techniques. There is something comforting about needles and yarn that I share with my fellow knitters. Yes. This past year has been a tough one. In the spring, I learned that my daughter had a life-threatening illness and was in the hospital for over a week. As I was walking to lunch with a friend, I broke my ankle. Since my daughter needed someone to stay with her after she returned home, I drove 10 hours from my house to hers and didn't get my ankle x-rayed until a week later. There was a lot of stress at work, and my boss was becoming increasingly hostile. Ever susceptible to the latest shiny object, I saw a beautiful and challenging pattern on one of my favorite channels. I bought the yarn and got started in midsummer. It was perfect, using lightweight fiber during the 105-degree heat. I took it with me on a weekend to the coast as I tried to cheer up my daughter after her illness. I knit as she slept in the hotel room, ripping out the same section several times as I couldn't figure out what mistake I was making. I knit in her apartment after her refrigerator died while we were gone, And we threw away all the food to make way for a new refrigerator. And I knit as I applied for new jobs after being fired for a small offense that had happened during the crisis in the spring. I am so grateful for the ability to make beautiful things. It doesn't take a lot of money, but it does take time, determination, and concentration. I hope this lacy shawl brings many blessings to the new owner, as it has already brought so many to me. Can you believe that story? This is the project. Look at it. It's amazing. It's just so epic. And Shelley knit it through all of that, and she gave it to me. There are no words. There are no words. Thank you so much, Shelley. I don't want to get any makeup on it. It's just so gorgeous. And it fills me with such joy. It makes me feel so loved. Thank you so much. All right, knitters, that does it for today. I will be back here next week. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week of knitting, and I will see you next time. Bye.